right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Victory Condition Gaming. My name is Doug. Today on the show, we're doing an actual play of the North Sea Epilogues RPG that is currently on Kickstarter from Garfield Games and Dice Up Games. If you are interested in this game as we play it or after we play it or whenever, just check out the link in the description of this video. Our GM tonight is the one and only Tim Devine from Dice Up Games, also the game's co-designer. Tim, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this actual play and doing this for us.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for doing this for us. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm really excited about this, and thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. I'm really excited about your game, and I'm so excited to see this project come to life. You've already hit your funding goal. You're knocking stretch goals off left and right. So I'm really excited to see where it's going to end up for you. Also tonight, we've got a phenomenal, I'd almost argue that it's probably our best actual player team ever on this show tonight. I mean, I pulled in some all-stars, and I'm just going to go right down the list, and I am going to introduce them to you all tonight. Starting to my left, I don't know if it's people's right or whatever, is Amanda Kahl from ageofnightcomics.com or ageofnight.com. Check out her webcomic. Also, Banana Chan from Game and a Curry.
Hi.
Joshua Melville from Halloweenville on YouTube.
Hey.
And Michael Harrington, VCG contributor, Norse God himself. I guess when I have folks that commit like Michael does, I know this is going to be a great game. Michael, thank you so much for going all out on this actual play.
If I fall over, it's heat exhaustion. Just letting you know.
Absolutely. All right. Now this is me handing the show over to Tim. Tim, here you go. You are in control, my friend.
Thank you.
Treat it with care and with kitty gloves.
With kitty gloves, I'll try my best not to just sail this right into a rocky shore. Yeah. So thank you again, and all of the people kind of listening to this. Our game right now, as Doug said, is a North Sea Epilogues. We're working with Garfield Games, and it's on Kickstarter. It funded in the first day. We were very excited, and we've been going through stretch goals, and we have another one that we're just so close to unlocking. And I was hoping we'd do it. It might have happened. I'm not checking right now, but we're very close. And that's Elizabeth Shapradicule. I'm just terrible with her last name, but Liz is fantastic, and we're really excited that we're almost at that stretch goal. So the crew that we have here they've all made their characters, or their heroes, as we call them in North Sea Epilogues. They're all part of the same clan of Vikings. And we're going to do character or hero introductions as part of this introduction to the game. So you'll get to meet them in just a moment. One thing that I'll say is that the group here, we've already discussed outside of the game our X-card items, or items that we'd prefer not to have explored during this game. But if anything comes up during the play, please, all the players, please feel free to flag me down. I'll do my best to see. If not, we'll just say something, and we'll stop right there. And then the other thing I was going to say is, for people that are watching this won't apply to the people that are listening to this on your podcast, Doug. You might see some awesome Viking helmets. That is courtesy of Doug Shute, who shipped them all to us. I have mine right here, but it kept falling off my head, and that was distracting. So thank you so much for that.
Hey, I figured it would set the mood and get us into character more if we all wore Viking hats. I did not expect it to be this hot, and so it is very like Michael said. If we die from heat exhaustion during this actual play, then
It's Doug's fault.
yeah, I'm sorry.
We did it for the game.
That's right.
Yep. And also, so North Sea Epilogues allows players to step into the age of Vikings and play not in a historically accurate setting per se, although you can if your table wants to do that. We aren't going in that direction. It's not the story that we're looking to tell. So you're not going to be looking for that. And also, it ranges in tone from super serious and gritty and dramatic if you want it to be, all the way to zany and fun. There's no limit to kind of how your table wants to play. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun here. And with that said, I think we're ready to begin. Our players, are you all ready?
Yeah.
Michael, do you have your hammer at the ready?
I'm ready.
The one thing that I think we talked about in chat, but I didn't remember, was whether or not you all agreed on a clan name.
Oh, no.
Oh,
So
There were some suggestions, but no, nobody.
Well, I think we should give this to who wants to name the clan most.
I think the guy that came prepared and dressed to the nines deserves the honor of the clan name, and that would go to Michael. And if it were me, I mean, you guys can vote a bunch.
So
of
Michael, go ahead and name. Yeah, go ahead and name the clan.
Before he passes out, you should probably name.
This is your legacy.
I don't know. Clan of the Thunder Thighs. How about that?
The clan of. All right, I'm writing that down.
All right, so we'll just be referring to you as your clan from here.
You asked for it.
Clearly, we did ask for it, didn't we?
I think that heat exhaustion has already set in.
It's dripping down my back. It's not a pretty sight over here.
Oh, man. Well, okay, so this should cool you down a little bit. As let's get right into the game. And the game is starting. We'll like kind of bring the camera in so that everybody is looking at the same thing here. We'll bring the camera in during a tremendous thunderstorm. It's just raging. It's the storm is throwing the water all over the place. The wind is howling. The wind is just bitter cold on your face as you're pulling the oars, or wherever you are on the ship. Your ship is lurching through choppy waters. And as it comes in past the faces of these grizzled Viking crew members rowing, and the sails rolled up so that the wind can't throw it too hard one way or the other, the camera comes in, and so it shows warriors all across the benches that aren't rowing, that are injured, and holding their sides and groaning, and some of them pulling harder to make up for the lack of rowers at the oars. And the helmsman is struggling to keep hold of the ship as the wind is battering against them. This ship is definitely sailing away from an epic battle. And your clan, this is your ship. Your clan is you're rowing home after this big epic battle that you won, but at a great cost. So as the camera is panning through, going through the oars with one of those really expensive Steadicam guys, it's really expensive, this shot that we're setting up here. So, everybody just understand the production value here. And it settles on one Viking in particular as they're sitting at the oars, and it's we're gonna say Ingvar.
Yes.
So Ingvar, the camera settles on you, and Ingvar's face is, what are you feeling like going through this storm?
My demeanor is very gruff. It is stern. It is looking out into sea as if something terrible is coming. My facial expression is just angry, but inside I'm thinking about food.
And there's one other thing that's inside is you're flashing back. The camera kind of flows back, and give us a scene of Ingvar, describing Ingvar in the heat of battle.
So Ingvar is a large man. He's got a full beard, and he's in his mid-20s. He's covered in tattoos that look like they kind of glow in the dark. And he wields 2 battle axes. So you can see him just like throwing these 2 axes around as he's like cutting his enemies, and blood's just gushing everywhere. His 2 axes are named Freyr and Freya, after twin gods.
And they're just currently
They're just swinging.
hacking it up.
Yeah, limbs everywhere.
So go ahead and Ingvar, hand the camera over your shoulder, passes over you during battle. This is still in the heat of battle. And who are you handing it off to?
I am going to hand it off to, let me take a look and see. Ooh, I think I'm going to hand it over to Redbeard. Alehouse.
All right, Redbeard, how does the
Yeah.
camera pick you up in the heat of battle?
In the heat of battle. So I carry this great big huge axe. You know, I'm a big stout stocky dude. Longer red beard, obviously. You know, I'm working on it a couple more years ago. Just a lot of rage in the heat of battle, like just swinging and taking out people left and right. I am the guy they put in front to plow the way for everyone else.
You're the shield breaker.
Darn right. And proud of it.
And as the shields in front of you splinter and shatter all around the camp, who's coming up next in the heat of battle?
Oh. I don't know what Amanda's character's name is, but
Vendela?
Vendela.
Vendela.
All right, so I'm not rowing. I'm actually tending to some of the wounded, kind of looking over them. I'm actually much older than a lot of the people on the boat. I'm actually 46. I'm an older woman with long, crazy, dark black hair with silver streaks in it. And I am a seer, so I also try to enhance this mysterious air that I have about me by frequently making crazy eyes and wearing lots of kohl and other types of makeup depending on what's going on. But right now I'm not really working on the crazy eyes. I'm just trying to tend to the wounded men in the boat and keep everyone as comfortable as possible on our miserable journey.
And as you're doing that on the boat, and your mind kind of wanders back a moment to where you were in that last epic battle, either in the heat of it or overlooking it, or where were you in that?
Right, so I tend to stay out of the actual thick of it if I possibly can. So for most of the battle, I was back a ways, making all these chants and incantations and shouting encouragement to our forces while also trying to scare the crap out of the people on the other side by telling them that I had foreseen their doom and they should just turn back now.
Brilliant. And then let's go to, let's say, swine. Is it swine? Swine?
Swine, yeah, swine.
Swine?
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine with me.
It's fine. It's fine with you.
If it's fine with you, it's fine with me. Swine is he's like tending to the ship, and maybe the what I'm thinking is that the opposing army is trying to take over the ship, and so he's trying to fend off them from taking over the ship, and he goes to take his sword out that's called the impaler that was passed down to him, and he reaches for it, pulls it out, and then drops it very clumsily, gets very mad at himself for dropping this generational sword, and while this opposing army person was coming to him, he just grabs an oar and just smacks him across the face.
So in battle, as that last part of the battle, you smack the person. So now you're back in the ship in this storm, and it's raging and it's rocking back and forth, and you're holding on to you're steering, but you also still have that oar in your hand.
That's right. That's absolutely.
So it's your new family heirloom that will be passed down. Will be this oar.
this oar and the impaler. So I've got two new but see, but Svein is he's young. He's like early 20s. He's not the typical like Viking. He's like scrawny, and he's just like, you know, everybody doubts like his abilities, and he's just out there to prove, you know, hey, I'm not a klutz. I am a worthy Viking. Maybe.
Well, you'll have your chance to prove it here. And then last but not least, we have the warrior, Ulfar.
Ulfar. Yes, Ulfar. He's
Bring us into the heat of battle.
during the in the battle.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're flashing back to the battle, and Ulfar is gone into a complete battle rage, and he wields a two-handed sword with twisted serpents around the hilt. And the name of the sword, Sigar, is inscribed in runes upon the center of the sword. And he just wades into the battle, completely given over to his lust for blood. And he just continually smacks and smashes and batters his way to the point where he's covered completely in gore and entrails. And later on in the ship, he's still wearing those entrails stuck in his hair and in his beard and covered all over his body. He has that mad gleam. He still wants to get back into the battle, and he can't. His rage is such that he wants to get back, and he can't believe that we're trying to escape at this point.
And I'm sure that the sounds of thunder and the wave, you know, the rocking of the ship is not helping that battle anxiety that you still have.
No, he feels that it's the gods urging him on to kill more, and he's about a hair's breadth from slaying other people around him.
And so the whole ship now, all of you are on this ship, are either rowing or tending to the wounded or steering, and we pan back out to see the whole situation. The strait that you're in is very narrow compared to, like, you know, an open sea, and in choppy waters like this, when storms come, it's just you want to either be far from the shore or not in the water at all. And at the moment, it's not looking so great. And so Svein. Sven? Spine? It's fine.
It's fine with me.
It's fine with me.
Well, it's not fine at the moment because you need to get the ship to shore because things are happening that are soon to be out of your control. And while you're thinking about how exactly to direct the ship one way or the other, if you want, you can consult some of the others here. But before you do, Vendela, something comes over you, and it's going to be a challenge right here. It's your first challenge individually. You're overcome by all of the motion and the cries of the wounded and the situation that you're in and the thunder, and trying to make sense of this as a seer. Potentially, this could have more meaning to you. So go ahead and give us our first action roll.
All right. So I'm sorry, everybody. That's not a good tone setter for the rest of the evening, but I just rolled a 1.
So here's the deal. You get to describe this however you want. The only deal is with a critical, or we call them like an epic fail or an epic success, the 1 or a 20, to preserve that awesome feeling. You're describing this in a much more epic tone, but you're also taking 3 points of strain.
Oh no!
Oh.
And since this is the first time someone's taking strain, I'll just explain it real quick. Strain in this game is something that builds. It's the more mental, physical, and emotional stress or strain that you're under. It builds to a certain point, and when it reaches your maximum strain, that's when you start to incur injuries or sustain injuries. We'll get to that if we get there. But for right now, just know that if I tell you take strain, we'll use take. Can't pronounce that word. If you take strain, you get to describe it. You get to describe how it happens. So if you're in this case, Amanda, however, if it could be mental, physical, or emotional, and you use that to help narrate the outcome. And because you rolled a 1, it's going to be in a much more epic way.
Okay. So I'm tending to the wounded. I keep on having my head down. I look up, and as we're rollicking around, I have this strange feeling coming over me, and I start to just kind of close my eyes and go into my own mind of what is this? This is a message from the gods. The gods are trying to tell me something. I can feel it. And then I just kind of bend over double and just start hurling. I am desperately seasick.
Excellent. I mean, not excellent, just excellent. So, Svein, gazing over the ship of Vikings struggling, you have to try to get this ship somewhere. How are you going to do that?
Gonna tell them to row harder.
All right.
Tell everybody that I don't like how does one? I mean I know I'm the shipwright, but I guess
where do you want the ship to go?
I wanted to go. We were heading away from the battle. Is that what?
Yeah. So basically, as you're sailing through this strait, you're heading home. So you're a good distance from the battle.
All right.
You personally don't know these waters very well. You can ask somebody in the group, or you could try to roll lore to see if, like, in that moment you can kind of sense where you need to go or where you might be.
Yeah, I might ask one of the older Vikings what they think the course or what the course of the ship should go. I'm going to consult with the elders of our party, and I'm going to let's see here, Ingvar and Redbeard and Ulfar. I'll kind of like bring them on together and be like, hey guys. Where do you think we should go? That's my most epic Viking voice.
Fine. Do what you think is right. This is your chance to shine.
Keep straight and true and away from the shores. Thrust onward and forward.
We need to go back. We need to kill them. Kill them. Kill.
Ulfar, that's no. Guys, we really should kind of keep an eye on him. I think I'm with Redbeard. I say we keep going forward into the ocean or wherever it is, the sea, and get away from this choppy water.
All right. So go ahead and give us a roll. And this is going to be using, I would imagine, I mean, it's you get to sort of decide your
I'm going to say it probably goes with my sailing ability.
Fair enough.
That is what is that? Is that that's a 9, actually. It's a 9 plus, do I use the 5 total there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
so that's a 13, or a 14, okay. Sorry. Math is hard. So... yeah.
Okay. So in this case, unfortunately, it doesn't go that well for you. You take 2 points of strain.
What?
And the ship is hurled against the shore.
Oh.
So that's when the camera cuts. So it's focusing in on you, and you have your bearing, and the wise Vikings in front of you told you, many different things, but you picked one of them. And as you're kind of going, and you have this look of complete confidence on your face, like, I'm doing this.
Right. And then I just totally mess it up, just like I mess everything up, and I'm just totally like, oh my God. Can't believe it did this.
Were you holding on, instead of holding on to the steering, or were you holding on to the oar that you brought with you? That's not attached to anything.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Well,
or I was holding on to the oar, and I go to turn, and like I knock like the guy, the captain overboard, and like it takes the wheel and just.
Well, there's a big flurry of waves and water and clashing of shields and everything, and the camera cuts as it's focusing or losing focus of you, Svein. But then kind of slowly fades back in, and time has passed. But it's nighttime. It's still in the evening. It's dark. And the rain has settled a little bit. The storm has settled a little bit. You're still clutching the oar in your arms, but you're on your back in the sand. Not on your ship anymore. And as you kind of look around, the others are waking up too. And the ship has been it's a little further down. It's rolled a couple times. It looks like it would take some work to get it repaired and back out to sea. Many of your crew members are spread around the beach. The injured, people are pulling bodies in from the water. And there was one person who I didn't introduce because they were among the injured and they were until now, but they woke up. And this is your commander. So up until now, you haven't had anyone in charge because you've been sailing home and the commander was injured and passed out. But now the commander's awake. This whole ordeal woke them up. Her name is Runa the Shield Breaker. She is a very imposing woman. She's just on the battlefield. She commands both with her words and with her just presence. Those of you who are warriors or fight in the shield wall would want to be closest to her when you're fighting. She just gives you that kind of confidence. She was injured pretty badly on the way out. When she wakes up, she started already shouting out orders, even though she has no use of her legs at the moment. So just to get to a scene here where we can all get our hands around it, everybody is gathered close to the ship, pulling the ship a little further from the water, and realizing that you're in unfamiliar lands to all of you, and all of these Vikings around you. The injured are being brought over by the more healthy Vikings or warriors, and you're sort of looking to your commander for what do we do? Your commander, Runa, she says she knows these lands. And we're near the settlement of Jarl Thora. And when she says that name, all of you know it. And Jarl Thora is called she goes by Jarl Thora, but she's actually called the Feast Giver. She's known for her hospitality, throwing very lavish feasts, and is typically very just hospitable, and strong enough to protect herself and her clan, so she can do these things without other people, fear that other people are going to always be conquering her, trying to steal her stuff. She's very, very powerful. And your commander says, being that you're on her shore, you need to get to Jarl Thora, and you need to pay your respects because you're on her shore, and ask for help, so that she doesn't think, hear word that there's an invading force on her of warriors on her shore. She appoints all 5 of you to be the emissaries. She's also a little bit out of it due to her injuries and not making necessarily all the right choices.
She must be if she's appointing me.
But nevertheless, you're her chosen emissaries. And she says that she starts shouting orders to the other warriors to start defending the area, gathering the wounded, gathering supplies. They're in for a rough night, and hopefully you can bring back help by the morning. So, what do y'all do?
What kind of steering was that?
I was doing the best I could. You told me to go. I can't help it.
Go straight and stay away from the shore. Away from the shore.
I know, man. I try my best. God damn it! I can't do anything right.
God's damn it.
Yeah.
We need to go to Yarfur. Yes, the Swedish chef is out now. Ulfar says Yarfur.
I'm sorry if we offend anybody's.
It's actually Swedish.
Yes.
Does anyone know the way
Um,
to the village where we might find Jarl Thora?
in Vara, but have you been here before?
No. but I'm very good at guessing. And I think we should follow this path.
Ah. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
That's a good moment for a challenge. Are you all following Ingvar?
I mean,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm not leading away.
All right, so Ingvar, it's on you. This could be any of the skills that you have as your approach. You could use something like survival or insight or that type of thing. However you're
Ooh,
feeling.
yeah. What
I don't-
about intellect?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Some deductive reasoning.
yeah, or awareness. Awareness.
That could work.
Okay.
It all plays into the outcome. So whatever you're using, that's just sort of how you're gonna explain how you've succeeded or failed.
Sorry, everyone. I rolled a 1.
No.
Oh no!
Plus awareness 4, so it's 5.
All right.
I'm blaming Amanda for this, setting the precedent here.
It's
Hey,
true.
This is rough. Wow.
I cursed us all.
Well, as much as it pains me to say this, your strain goes up by 4,
Ooh.
and so what causes you and the group to get lost for an hour?
I think that the path is actually leading us back to the shore. So it's not actually a path anywhere, it's just a circle. I don't know what kind of person would make a path like this.
So when you all get back from the circle that you just did, describe the strain. Was it mental, physical, or emotional?
I think emotional.
Getting back to your injured crew and just dropping to your knees. Why?
Yeah.
When you get back, Runa is very upset and scolds you all and points in the direction you should have gone. And you all set off in that direction. And about 30, 40 minutes later, you see the torchlights of the walls of the settlement that you're heading towards. And this is Jarl Thora's primary settlement. And it's got high walls and a big gate, some gatehouses where there's people kind of up. You can see there's the shadowy figures up there. It's still raining and there's still thunder in the distance, but it's not focused over you. And so the 5 of you approach the gate.
Zara, our party representative.
I'll hail the gatehouse. Hello.
You hear?
Open up the gate, please. It is me, Ulfar.
You hear from the gatehouse. Who goes there? Who are you?
Ulfar the Magnificent.
Have you heard
And my
of
merry
Ulfar the
band,
Magnificent?
my merry band of Vikings. We are the Thunder Thighs. We seek Yarthura.
Tell her who sent us, you fool. Commander.
While you're trying to remember your commander's name, the guards are deciding whether or not they've heard of an Ulfar the Magnificent. And one of them shouts down, "We've never heard of you."
Well, in that case, my name is Max von Sydow.
Okay.
He's Norwegian. He's Swedish for sure.
So if you're, I like the idea that you're trying to get them to think that you're somebody else. I kind of want to impose a challenge here and say that you can see if your, charisma wits can. Not that there's a skill called charisma, but you can pick one of your skills if you think.
How
that you can actually get them.
about influence?
Perfect.
That'll work. And I rolled an 11 plus 3, 14.
Hey, not bad. So you take a point of strain, but you succeed. So you just met the difficulty level there. So what are you saying to them? How are you convincing them to open up?
Well, in all seriousness, I say, I explained that our ship has been wrecked, and if I for the life of me, I should have jotted the name down. Can somebody remind me?
Runa.
Runa.
Runa has sent us to talk to Jarl Thura. We have just escaped a horrendous battle, and our ship is wrecked because Svein here doesn't know his ore from his rudder.
What? Sure, just blame me. I always get blamed for everything.
All right. So one of the guards, as soon as you say that, he says, "Oh man, I thought he was going to do something magnificent. This would have been amazing." "Shut up, you fool!" The other one says, "Shut up, you fool. Runa, the shield breaker, sent them." Okay, let them in. You can come in, and the gates open.
See, I am magnificent.
I'm gonna be like, as we're walking in, I'm gonna take my oar and I'm gonna be like trying to be all intimidating with the oar, but everybody knows that it's not.
It's not working well for you.
No.
I would imagine Redbeard Alehouse is the largest of you.
Yes.
Yeah. You're a berserker, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you all walk in, and one guard had that opened the lifted the bar from the gate and wrenched one open. You came in. He looks at all of you and is kind of looking you over, and then he sees this giant berserker in front of him, and he kind of takes a few steps back. But it's fine. Redbeard is standing behind you, so you can believe that maybe you're intimidating this individual.
Absolutely.
With your oar padding. So the guard says, "Everyone is indoors. The storm has been terrible, but I can show you. I can take you to the Great Hall."
Yes, some mead and some food would be nice.
Yes, it would. My shift is not over for some time. Thank you for reminding me. But
You're welcome, good sir.
But I'll take you so you can enjoy it. He turns and he starts walking down like the main roadway. This is a very densely populated settlement. It's got many like buildings closely built together. Some you can see like alleyways almost forming behind them. And you're all walking down, and almost no one is out. No animals, no people, because the storm had just hit. It just passed over, but it's still raining and it's still thundering. But nothing directly overhead. But you don't see many people. It's not like one of those scenes in the movies where like they're scared of you and closing their shutters every time the camera picks up on them. It's more like you could tell why they're in their homes, and you're just walking through a muddy street, an empty muddy street to the Great Hall. As you get to through the village into a big town center, like a big area, the open air where they probably have many gatherings. The hall is on one side, up on a little bit of an incline. It's just massive, looming over this place, and much money was spent on the artisans who carved the wood pillars and archways, and it's just very, very intricate, more than you've ever seen. Your hall would pale in comparison to this one. And it's at that moment when the guard turns around and says, "Well, I need to get back to the wall, but that's the hall. Is anything else that you need?"
No, thank you for your escort.
Ulfar looks at him disgustedly. Welp.
I'd like to give him a hug.
Oh.
He accepts it. He thank you. What was your name?
I am Ingvar, the giver of hugs.
Ingvar. I will remember that name. The giver of hugs.
I look over at Melville and just like, I just made that up.
You hear just like several yards down. As he gets further away from you, he just shouts out, "I've been given a hug by Ingvar, the giver of hugs." It echoes through the village. So is the group heading towards the hall?
Yes.
I am for sure.
Okay. So everybody's heading to the hall, except one of you, Vendela. You hear a small sound coming from behind the group. So as your group, think of everybody else. You're walking towards the hall, laughing at the fact that Ingvar just gave themselves a title, and it made a guard very happy. And Vendela, you hear this sort of a psst, psst coming from the alley, and you see when you look over there, you see a small shadowy figure.
All right, I'll approach them. Who's
you
there?
You hear a child's voice, and it's a young girl, and she says, "Don't go in the hall.
Why not?
Don't go in the hall." And then a huge thing of thunder claps, and as you kind of the light goes and the shadow's gone.
All right, I'm gonna rush to catch up with the rest of the group. Say, wait. I have a bad feeling about this.
Just as the bad feeling is had. Those of you who are ready to go up to the gates of the hall, this big stone steps and then wooden steps on top of those. There's three very, very like dark figures, and they have these big black cloaks on, standing like sentries in front of the door. And one of them takes a step forward right as Vendela is approaching, saying that she has a bad feeling about this. And the guard, in a very grim voice, so grim that I can't even do the voice. Just think of the most grim voice you can imagine. And it says, "Who goes there?"
It's Ingvar, the hug bearer, the hug giver.
Would you like a hug?
Is this a joke? You
No.
cannot be here. You must leave.
I give great hugs.
She does. I saw it. It was great. I kind of want one.
You may have one later.
Don't confuse me, Tim, the GM, laughing for this very grim individual. He's still standing there, quite stoic, with a very big scar going over his left eye and a very dark hair. He says, first he spits. He spits to the side past you all and yells, not yells, but says again, "You cannot be here. Go off."
Hey, I was told to come here and get some of your finest mead to fill up my mead skin.
That's not actually what we're here for.
I was told there was mead. I've come for mead, and I've come for food. Listen, I've plowed 100 paths for you, smaller folk. I deserve some daggum meat and some meat to fill my belly. Now let us through.
Yep.
Move aside.
That's intimidating right there. Redbeard Alehouse reveals his true laughter.
It's that of a small child.
Tim has a real
That's the little
Yeah.
child that's laughing at us for not listening to her.
Yeah.
advice.
It's true.
I told you. So as you're announcing your need for mead, the two of the other guards at the door, you see them holding tight spears that were just sort of resting on their shoulder. Now they kind of get them a little bit out and more looking like they could be readied. And the big guard in front says, he says, the Jarl is not seeing anyone.
Oh, she most certainly is.
Why isn't the Jarl seeing people? We have the giver of hogs and me, Wilfar the Magnificent.
I've never heard of you.
That's
What makes you
amazing
so
because I am so magnificent. You see my flowing hair?
You see one of the, if one of you is looking, one of the two guards in the back actually does seem to be a little bit impressed by your hair. But the other one is quite serious and wraps their spear on the stone slab that they're standing on quite hard. And you're all a few steps down from them. Still, you'd have to go up the rest of the steps to get level with them. And he, upon doing that and wrapping the floor quite loud, the door opens a crack and you see a shadowy kind of figure look out and say, "What's going on?" And they like whisper a little bit to each other. The door stays open for a moment, and then all of a sudden, a smaller person comes out. Just doesn't look like a warrior at all. Looks a lot like Svein in stature, but a little bit older. Comes out with a cloak kind of wrapped around them because it's cold, and they come out and they stand next to the grim-looking guard, and they look very scared of these guards. This person that's standing there looks quite like intimidated by the dark cloaked figures, and he says, "The Jarl is not seeing anyone. You must go. Who are you?"
We are the Thunder Thighs.
Oh my gosh!
I should have said Pop-Tart.
I don't need more advertising for Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, I don't think Kellogg's needs the. They could get a cease and desist order at that point.
So the person in front of you says, he comes a little bit closer, but still not so close. He says, "The Jarl is not seeing anyone this evening. You can see the Jarl in the morning. In the meantime," and he thinks for a moment. He says, "You can take residence in the back of that building right over there." And he points at a close building. It's nearby, and he says, "Take shelter from the storm. We will send food to you, and just you could see the Jarl in the morning."
Go ahead.
Why is the Jarl not seeing anyone this evening? What is happening here?
She's not well. Quite ill.
I have a fairly high awareness. I'd like to see if I can see if he's dissembling or not.
Okay, go ahead.
And I rolled with my bonus a 17.
Okay, yeah. So you're trying to sort of discern whether or not he's being fully truthful. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, well you definitely are picking up that something is not right. But he seems more concerned about these large people, but also concerned about the Jarl. That's like what you're picking up. And also Vendela, in this moment, you that voice comes back into your head.
I'm gonna see if I can listen to it. If I can try to focus on that.
Okay.
And stop paying attention to the world around me.
So insight?
Yes. I'm gonna try to focus on the voices that I'm hearing. What is this message the gods are sending me? Oh, for the love of Freya. That's a grand total of 9.
Okay. Now, one of the things that we didn't mention before, which is fine, but you have in the North Sea Epilogues, a hero is made up of story elements, stat elements, and their stuff. So the character sheets are broken into those 3 sections. And whenever you're doing an action, you're picking one skill to sort of represent the approach. But the other aspect that you can bring into it, or element you can bring into it, is one of your story elements. So if you have a story element that factors into what you're doing, it would reduce the difficulty level, so making it easier for you to achieve. Okay. And so for example, like Doug, earlier when you did your shipwright action, I reduced it for you because you're a shipwright.
Oh, okay.
But normally, player, you could say that. You could be like, okay, I'm rolling this, and I feel like the fact that I'm a warrior really factors in, or I feel like my trait or my motivation factor. So okay, so back to Vendela. So
who rolled a 9.
And then what skill do you have a specialization in that skill?
That was that's the yes, the little shield is.
So go ahead and roll one more time.
Okay.
And take the higher of the two.
Oh, aha. I'm gonna burn all my dice. That was a 10 altogether.
All right.
Okay. So you take a point of strain, but you do get a little bit more of the message. So what is it that you're feeling is happening at the moment?
I get this. For a minute, everything just kind of fades away. The world goes black, and I start to see the same village that we've just walked through, except it's not only empty of people because of the rain, it's also completely dry and desolate, and looks like nobody has lived here for 100 years. Except that down the center road, I see this group of, like, a whole swarming mass of these pale white snakes all slithering together. And then that only lasts for a couple of seconds, and I just kind of come back to reality.
All right. Well, as you come back to reality, we'll say that you take a step backwards, and Redbeard or Ulfar, one of you can sort of like help her not fall off the steps. And Vendela, you also, as you come out of it, notice a tattoo going up the neck of the very grim person in front of you. It's a white serpent going right up into his hairline. The person is also urging you all to not be here and to come back in the morning.
I think we should take their advice and retire for the evening.
What say the rest of you?
I pour some mead out of my mead skin
Meat skin.
into my drinking horn, and I chug it. And I say, "Where am I going to get this filled?"
That is not our primary concern right now.
Whoa, lady. Look, all right. The mead is not your concern, but I clearly came up these stairs.
Redbeard.
Redbeard, I do remember them mentioning that they'll be bringing us food and mead. Is that correct?
I thought it was here. They told us to go to the Great Hall, get your fill. You know, you hugged the little guy and you shipped him on his way. He said he was going to bring it. Now these guys...
Maybe we'll find mead there.
I am so going to go berserk on the first person I see if I do not get some mead in my meat skin.
Oh.
And I cross my arms and I huff.
You need a hug. Does somebody need a hug?
No.
Me.
I want mead.
Well, Ulfar, he's one of his traits is fearlessness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's catching something that's not going on correctly here. So he just throws caution to the wind, strides right up to the guy with the snake tattoo, and he says, "Something is not right here. He needs the mead. He needs it now. And I don't think you guys are on the level." Swedish chef. I don't know if I can do that anymore. It's hurting me. But he does say that. He says he thinks they're not on the level, and he kind of tries to front the guy off. He's puffing out his chest.
Okay.
He's doing his fearless thing. He's again on a hair's breadth. He could trigger right into a battle rage.
All right. So the guard in front of you meets you like complete head on. Like, so the two of you are moments from erupting into battle, and the two behind him are clearly ready to jump right in. The other one not being as impressed by your hair at the moment. And the small person sort of leaps in between you. Although you're both these stoic warriors facing off, this little person is in between the two of you, trying his hardest to like keep you from fighting. He says, "There cannot be blood. There cannot be blood." And he looks at the biggest in your group, Redbeard Alehouse, and he says, "I assure you, there will be mead. Lots of mead. We will bring lots of mead."
Fine.
And he looks at you, Ulfar, and he says, "I understand you're trying to be a hero, but you have to go. Trust me." And he gives you a big wink.
Do you want the hug too?
There's no time. And he pushes the big guard back a little bit and kind of like urges you all, and he tells you that there will be meat coming.
All right. I turn to Vendela and I trust her judgment as a seer. So she and I clearly know there's something not exactly right here, but I'll follow her lead since she's steered us right in the past with her visions.
All right. So let's go ahead and smash cut right into the room. You're all in the room. Redbeard is just sitting there, sort of probably looking at your meat skin, just waiting, just waiting. What are the rest of you doing in the room?
Well, I will describe my vision to everyone. I'd say I saw the pale snakes, and then the mark upon that man. There is something foul going on here, but I don't believe that attacking them head on is the best way to go about finding out what is happening.
And after she says that, I'm going to like take out my impaler and do some practice swings, like I'm like trying to like get the and in the meanwhile I, like knock over like a vase that's like in the room and like be like whoops and like just be
fine.
But
you're small and non-threatening.
Thank you.
No, in this instance, it may serve us well. Do you believe you might be able to sneak your way into the Longhouse and get closer to the Jarl?
I could try. I mean, that would be good, I guess. Yeah.
Let me be clear here. Do not walk up to the front door. You need to sneak in as if you are a servant.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I get it. I get what you're saying. But once I'm inside, I can really kind of just go to town with this sword, right?
No.
Just start to wiggle around and like take people out, right?
Perhaps someone else should go with him.
No one's
I ain't got my meat yet, so I ain't going nowhere. You want to fill my meat skin, I'll go.
Thank you, Ingvar.
I will go. I feel like I'm non-threatening as well.
I believe that you at least have a bit more common sense.
Horse fine.
It's always me. You guys always got to pick on me. I'm trying to do my best here, man.
I'm trying to Viking, guys. I'm trying to Viking.
Trying to get my Viking on. You won't let me.
All right. So the two of you are heading out into the night.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so. Are we gonna get some like servant like apparel on? Is there any like?
You gonna do a little wardrobe change?
Yeah, we do like dress up as like the servants.
Like are we gonna steal servants' clothing?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. We'll
All
go
right.
on.
You
So-
should like try to like go up to some servants and like squeeze them like and like as you're hugging you like grab them and like take them down.
No, I don't want to do that. I just want to steal clothes. I don't want to hurt anyone.
Just take off your armor and hide your weapons. You don't need to mug people for their clothing.
But I
You're
really want
suppo-
to hurt somebody.
Wait. We're using at least one weapon, right?
Just conceal it.
Okay.
Do I
You
take
can
the
bring
impaler?
both your weapons. Just conceal them. Discretion is the idea here.
I feel like we're not very good at this.
And you haven't even started.
So as the words trail off, discretion, the two of you leave the room, head down a hall, leave this small building into the back. There's like an alley behind this that's in between your building and the Great Hall. And the Great Hall is up on these like big platforms. So there's some stones piled up and then the wood on top of that, like the actual building. So you'd have to climb a little bit, but there's no windows that you can see on this side of the whole building. And there's like tiny ones at the top. So you're going to go down and then around to try to see if there's a way in through the back. And as the two of you kind of walk off, we'll take the camera back to the three in the room. And we'll come back to you both. So the three of you in the room, a few moments later, hear a small knock at the door. It sounds a lot like what swine's knocks sound like.
What? What do you mean by that, man?
Like a wet
You're down
fish hitting
the
wood.
alley.
I get really excited. This has got to be my mead. This has got to be my mead. And I run over to the door and pull it open real fast. And,
Yep.
and what do I see?
Well, you don't see anything. There's nobody standing in front of you, but the other two, as the door swings open, holding on to the small little like knocker thing they were using to knock on it, is still hanging on it as this small child.
There's no one here. What the? I think this place is haunted.
Look at the door.
Pop-Tart,
Yes,
you've come back.
It's a fine door.
Pop-Tart has come back to see us.
Pop-Tarts. Where?
Pop-Tart is a registered trademark by Epilogues Corporation. Victor,
Toaster pastry, you've come back to see us.
Generic toaster pastry.
Generic toaster pastry.
So
what the heck is that?
A small child.
the small child hurries seemingly over to Vendela, but then immediately hugs Ulfar really, really tight. And it's like this like young between 6 and 8 year old girl, and she's like holding on to your hair, these big locks of your beautiful hair, and she's sort of muttering something about being scared that the place is haunted.
I was right.
So I'm not a savage. Well, completely a savage. So I kneel down next to the girl and I kind of brush her hair away from her face and I ask her in my Swedish voice, not my Swedish voice, my
your Swedish voice.
Yeah, Swedish. Tell me, pastry, what? Why do you think it's haunted?
Because the big man in the red beard said it was haunted.
Well,
This
there was
one?
a knock at the door and no one was there.
I was there.
That could explain it.
The little girl looks at Vendela and says, "Thank you for not going in. That would have been bad.
What is inside?
My mother, but also very bad men and some bad women.
Where did these bad
Just
people
bad
come
people.
from?
I don't know.
Who are they?
They came earlier in the day."
And your mother's Yarthura?
Yes.
Is she in danger?
I don't think so right now. But she thinks I am.
Why does she?
The men took me and my stepfather. They were holding us hostage. They said they would kill us if we tried to leave.
But you escaped.
She shrugs.
How are you here now? How did you get away from them?
I'm quick. And my mom says I'm a thief. I only took a few things. And she starts emptying her little pouch, and she has a knife that has some blood on it, and she hands it to you, Ulfar, and she says, I'm sorry, I used this. I'm sorry. And she gives it to you, and she starts pulling out a couple of things, a couple arm rings that she took clearly off of warriors, some coins, a couple little knickknacks and trinkets, some runes. She just drops them all on the floor.
I like this child.
So you slew the guards?
Oh, no. I just cut him. A little.
Need to watch this one.
She seems useful.
She says, I can tell you where they're holding my stepfather.
Yes.
Yes, that would be.
He's in the barn at the end of, if you go behind this building and go all the way down, there's a barn. That's where they held us.
How many men were there that came?
She shrugs.
10?
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
She says they kept saying something about the morning. As soon as the sun came up, that's when all of this would be over.
That seems ominous.
Well, so it's at the barn at the end of the street.
So as the thought bubbles start to form around Ulfar's head, we cut over to Swine and Ingvar. You're approaching the end of this alleyway, and it kind of curves around into darkness where you're hoping to get around and get up into find a way into the hall. But as you're going, closer to that corner, three figures round the corner. They're wearing those dark cloaks. One of them has a spear. The other two just seem to have shields at their side. And they seem to be looking all over the place. Like one of them ducks down to look underneath a barrel or these boxes or crates or whatever. Another one lifts up a big bunch of hay off one area. They're looking low on the ground for something. But the one in the middle sees both of you and says, "Who goes there?"
I push Spine in front of me.
What's wrong with him?
I'm Swine. Swine. I'm off to. We're gonna do some maintenance at the Greasy Hall. We're just going.
You sound like Han Solo at the death. Everything's fine. We're fine now.
It's fine. We're fine now. Situation normal. All clear.
Building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other ones that was looking under a small crate kind of looks up and is caught off guard by you both and says, "Did you see a small child run by here?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went that way. And we both do we both point in different directions? Do we point in different directions?
The one in the middle goes, "There's something not right about your story."
Which? Oh, wait a minute. Which way did what way did they go again? Ingvar?
Oh, you said a small child. I heard a small duck.
Yeah. No, I saw the child. They saw the duck. The child went that way.
Yeah. What he said.
The one in the middle looks at the one at the right, and then on the one on the left, and they all nod and they square off and they go at you. So your challenge right now is that you're both being attacked.
What? Okay.
You're the one who wanted to get your Viking on.
I go to reach for my sword, the impaler, and I grab the ore by accident. And like I square up with the ore, thinking it's the sword, and then like I take oh no.
Yeah.
And so I like throw it.
You gotta lean into it.
Yeah.
Lean into it. Take this guy out with an ore.
and so then I just like backhand him with the ore, the one that's closest to me.
All right, so both of you are dealing with the same challenge, so you're doing this together. So go ahead and both of you give me your roles, whatever it is you think is the approach you want to take, and let me know if there's any story elements that factor into this. The other thing is, if you want to have this go easier for you, you can also use one of your grit to surge. So you have these points in the bottom right hand of your character sheet. You should each have 2.
Nice.
Ooh, okay. I rolled an 11.
Did you add the skill to it as well?
No, my melee is 5.
My melee is... Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So my melee is 4. My bonus is 4. I rolled a 7, so I have an 11.
And my next question for you both is: are either of you specialized in the skill you're rolling?
Yes.
So you get to roll again and take the higher of the 2.
Oh.
No.
And so Sven, what was your roll again?
Mine was an 11 total.
And do any of your story elements factor into this? Are you can you see any of those things kind of like, for instance, honoring the gods is your motivation?
Yeah,
unpredictable? Is that why your ore came out?
Really? That's exactly why my ore came out.
This warrior has never squared off against an opponent wielding an ore. He's not quite sure how to approach you.
That's right. So they just start swinging wildly with.
And then real quick, Ingvar, what was your second roll, or what was the highest roll?
The second one's a 5, so I'm going to take the first one.
And what was the total?
16.
16. All right, you both succeed. And Ingvar, you actually get what I would consider 2 successes in this case. You go 2 tiers above the difficulty level you're trying to reach. And Svine, you just met the difficulty, so you take 1 more point. Your strain ticks up again by 1. But the 2 of you together combined overcome the 3 of them. So play out this little battle scene here.
So I think for me, I'm gonna be like wielding this ore, and I think on one of like my swings, I'm gonna hit the ore like right underneath the guy's head like that, and like go up, and I'm gonna say, "Order up."
So right when you say "order up" and it catches him in the jaw, the center warrior looks over and starts laughing hysterically at your wit. and that's now we have Ingvar, who's about to overcome both of them. And before you continue, one thing I should say is that when you overcome an opponent or a challenge in this, you don't have to necessarily kill them, or it doesn't have to be like that. It could be any type of outcome. They're no longer a threat is the end result. So it's your scene now, Ingvar.
Okay. Ingvar, seeing that the middle guard is distracted, he goes ahead and takes his blade and knocks him out with the flat end, and then does the same thing with the other guard, who is stunned with such grace. So
just with such great, both bong, like almost like the frying pan kind of move. You know? not cutting their heads off or anything.
No.
And all three of them slumped down almost at the same time. One of them missing a couple teeth from the order up. And which should be your signature move, by the way.
It's absolutely. Now, I mean, it is going to be this generational weapon that I'm going to pass down from now on.
Now remember, children, grandchildren, when you swing this, you must yell, "Order up." All right. Now, so they all drop in front of you. What are you two going to do?
What are you thinking?
We should search for things on them. They probably have keys, because guards always have keys.
Absolutely. Let's loot those bodies.
Yeah.
All right. As you're both rummaging through the bodies looking for keys, we cut back to the room of the three of you, and you know that at the end of the alleyway is the barn where they're keeping her father, who she hasn't told you any much detail about the situation in the time that's passed. This is sort of happening at the same time, so we'll just pick it up from there.
By Odin's beard, I don't have my meat. I am ready to kill something. Small, like a carrot or something. But darn it, it will die!
The little girl, when you say you want to kill something small, immediately hugs Ulfar again and grips tight the locks.
I take out my axe, Fifi, or Fui, as we call it, and I begin to pour mead on it because it's a drunken axe. That's how it gets its +1 ability there, and I quench its thirst, and the last of the mead that was in the skin falls upon the axe, and a tear begins to roll down and into my beard.
Wait, this sounds just like a typical normal Tuesday night at your house, Josh. I mean,
Absolutely.
Why is the mead always gone? All right, so
It never stays long.
are the three of you asking questions or leaving?
I'm so frustrated. Ah!
I think we should seek Pastry's father and compatriots.
My name is Astrid.
It always throws me off when it reads all the pastries. It takes me 2 seconds to realize, oh yeah, no, that's what he's calling the little girl.
Astrid, child, you should stay here. You need to stay out of sight. In case anything bad happens, these men wanted to take you. We don't want them to have you again. You need to stay here and stay safe. Do not leave this building.
She's nodding her head like a young child who's clearly not listening to you.
No. Say it back to me.
Pastry.
All right, I did what I could.
She can handle herself. She stabbed a guard. I, for one, want a little pastry sidekick.
Well, then ensure that she still has that weapon in case it comes to that.
So when Ulfar, when you reach into your belt where you stored it, it's not there anymore.
See, I told you, little thief.
So she, the young girl goes over to the corner and just sort of sits down on a little pile of cloth and says, "When this, are you coming back for me when this is over?"
We shall.
All right. And where are you all going?
I check to see if anything else is missing on my person.
Is anything missing?
Yeah, I'm missing. I had a settlemental token, so that totem. I'm sorry, that's missing too. So I kind of walk over to her and I kind of do a gesture that I want it back.
She sighs and looks down and just puts it up and holds it in her hand and hands it to you.
Okay.
I'm halfway down the hall.
So
I'm nearly to the door to the outside.
We're
Well-
coming. Just calm down.
Redbeard, because you walked into the hall before the others, you're the one who sees two rather large figures holding trays of various things covered in a cloth so it didn't get wet by the rain, and a couple more behind them, and they look at you and are a little surprised that you're right there, but then a little relieved that you're by yourself.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm just blind to not having my mead and having it right there. I'm just keep storming straight up.
All right. So as you're going towards them, one of them pulls a blade, and you hear one from behind go, "Get them all quick!"
You don't want to do that, me boyo. And
Right.
I just go in, guns blazing, swinging. All
All right. So all of them at the same time. You all, the other two, you're going to hear this and be a half pace behind him. But this is going to be pretty difficult. But you have both the story element to factor in here, being a berserker, and your strength and all of that. You also can use a grit if you want to. This would be a moment that might be beneficial.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and use a grit. What's a grit do?
A grit can be used in one of two ways. On an action, a grit can either reduce the difficulty of the task you're trying to accomplish, or it will remove one of your points of stress.
Okay.
You could also use it in one other way, but we won't need to worry about that here.
Okay.
Doesn't apply.
Since I don't have any strain right now, I'll use it towards the to reduce the difficulty.
Okay. I think you're the only one without strain. Maybe you and Ulfar. Okay. So go ahead. Go ahead, Redbeard Alehouse. One thing I'd point out is that you also you look to be specialized in unarmed.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're using your axe, you can add that into it. If not, you can use whatever you want. I just wanted to know what approach you're taking.
Let's see. So you said I could add the unarmed into it?
Well, it basically, you're overcoming the opponent. You could use a combination of many things, but if the most critical thing has to do with unarmed combat is more the thing you're going with, that you could definitely apply that one.
Well, I already said that I was swinging quickly, and I've charged it up with the meat that I had left. So that would be a 15 with all the points added up here.
Okay. And because you reduce the difficulty level by 2, you actually succeed here. So you get two applied to it, and you of the, let's say, 5 or so people in this room with you, half of them can be no longer a challenge because of what you're doing.
Oh, sweet.
So what does it look like? Describe the scene that both Ulfar and Vendela are witnessing as they round the corner.
Well, the person in front gets that first powerful swing and just splits them right in half. So blood, guts, and viscera everywhere. So I come back up and hit one of the other ones in the face. Okay, leaves a nice big nasty gash, and then pull back down, decapitating the third. And then you said there were 2 left.
Yeah. There's
so
2.
Or there's like what, 2.5 left.
2 definitely. Well, there's a 2.5. Yes, we'll say 2.5. Yeah, and the two are grabbing at their weapons and coming towards you. And so the other two are going to get their moments after this happens. But why don't you? This would be something like defense or agility, something where you're trying to avoid the challenge that you're facing at this moment is not to get. How are you avoiding being walloped?
Up, down. So as I come down and I see that they're swinging, I'm going to kind of do one of those tuck and roll things. One of those football maneuvers where you just kind of tuck, roll, and kind of do a 360 there as I'm avoiding their swing down.
Captain
so go ahead
Kirk shoulder roll.
Yeah, give me the roll for the Captain Kirk shoulder roll.
All right. Let's see. That's all about the same. So. Eight.
All right. So you're taking 2 points of strain.
Okay.
And we'll bring it right into Vendela and Ulfar. How are you? You're approaching the scene where you just an explosion of gore and then a somersault that possibly goes awry because of the gore. I'd imagine it's up to
That's what it is. I slipped on those intestines that are all over the floor, and just foot goes out from under me.
Flipping on entrails.
And so Vendela, Ulfar, it's your moment.
And what do we have left for opponents at this point?
Two.
Okay.
Two that are like lunging blades and axes towards the falling alehouse.
Oh dear.
Well, I scream out an oath to Odin, and I brandish Sigurd, and I charge right in, wade right into the fray.
All right.
Singing the battle chant.
Yep. Go ahead and give a roll for the challenge here, and then Vendela, are you taking part in this in a combat way?
No. I'm decidedly not going to do that.
Okay.
She's afraid of getting any viscera on her.
I'm not afraid of viscera. I have no issues with viscera. You should see what scrying looks like if you think I'm afraid of viscera. No, I'm not terribly adept in a fight, so I am instead going to take out my staff and just kind of like wheel it around and start with my bizarre chanting and screeching and telling them, "You treacherous snakes, the gods have seen your evil deeds and you shall be punished for them."
Wow.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
that's effective.
I'm
Go ahead
freak
and
out.
yeah. So you can do like an influence roll for this, and the two of you together are going to overcome this challenge if you can. So Ulfar, go ahead and give us a roll for your swinging of Sigurd.
So that is 17 altogether.
Beautiful. And you can go ahead and add 1 grit, Ulfar.
Okay.
So your grit goes up by 1 because you succeeded high enough above the challenge to be sort of like even better. And then what did you get, Vendela?
19.
Oh, same for you. Same for you.
Hooray.
And in this case, the three of you can sort of finish out this scene. What does it look? First of all, I'll say one thing about the two. When you say specifically serpents, when that part comes out, it something hits home there, and they're taken off guard at that moment. So, Ulfar, why don't you tell us what happens in the battle, and then Redbeard, after that, you can tell us how you get up.
Well, I run screaming into the battle, my red hair streaming back from my teeth bared, and I take the two-handed sword above my head, and I cleave the one of the remaining warriors from stem to stern, and splitting him right in half. And then I reach in and pull out his heart. And I show it to the other guy as it's beating still.
Oh, we're doing Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Kalima!
Oh, wait. Entirely the wrong pantheon.
But I show it to him. Look at that!
And so that takes out the last person in what way? How is he no longer a threat?
He drops down to the ground crying, terrified. He soils himself.
Yep. We'll let that sink in for just a moment.
And then I just kick him over.
Tim, I just want to reiterate, you agreed to do this.
We did not, in fact, kidnap you. You're here voluntarily.
Are you kidding? This is awesome. I normally don't get to hear this stuff on the Tiny Dungeon. So fun to hear it firsthand. Yeah, all right. I just won't introduce any dragons.
Oh, yeah, please don't.
All right. For those of you who haven't seen it, tune in to Tiny Dungeon. All right.
Oh, yes.
Or don't.
Okay, so it's that battle is over, and the three of you step out into the rain, sort of to wash a lot of this disgusting viscera off of.
Wait a minute. Was there anything actually on the trays? Was there like food or anything?
Oh, there was right now it's soggy with both. Well, everything that's on the ground that you slipped in. Yeah. But it's like bread and some cheese, and there was one cup of ale.
Oh, and, son of a!
And it's all on the floor.
Well, I take a piece of the bread and I dip it in the blood, and I go,
no,
"How do you like me now?"
No. Put it down. It is clear that they have not had our best intentions at heart. It could well be poisoned.
You're right. When you're right, you're right.
It's what I would do.
All right. I get it. Now, what are we doing?
We're rescuing the guy in the barn.
What guy in the barn?
Astrid's stepfather, presumably Jarl Thora's husband.
Who's Astrid?
Pastry.
The child.
And she said that they had mead. So if we go rescue him, there's most likely mead in the barn.
And I just start walking off as soon as he says they have mead.
Right,
it was this way or was it that way?
That way.
That way? Okay. Are you coming?
What is with your clan and giving directions?
We're all just scarecrows.
How do you navigate?
Poorly.
That's why I wrecked the ship.
How do we get out of the storm? That way. All right. So we'll bring you all back together in this moment where the blood-soaked Redbeard alehouse, followed by the less blood-soaked Vendela and Ulfar, reach this alleyway, walking towards the barn, seeing their clan Swine and Ingvar looting the bodies.
What are you doing?
Clearly having fun.
We're looking for keys to get into places.
Oh, hey guys, guess what I did? This is so cool. This is, you know how you don't think that I'm a very good Viking? I totally was a good Viking. Hey, Ingvar, you want to tell him? No, I'll tell him.
No, you tell him.
I'll tell him. You want to tell him? No, I'll tell him. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I reached for my sword and I took out.
Tell the story. I'm walking on.
Where's Redbeard going? I finally did something good and he's walking away. Okay, so like I had this ore and I was like beating them up with it, and like I went up and I hit the guy in the jaw, and I said, as I was doing it, I said, "Order up, get it?" Because it's an ore.
So I take the heart that I'm still holding. I give it to him. And I say, here, hold this for me.
And I just look at it and I'm like, Wow.
That's what's fun.
Thanks.
So, Swine, how do you react to holding a human heart in your hand?
I'm like so impressed. I'm so like enamored with like telling them about my epic accomplishment that I don't even realize that it's a heart at first, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I look at it and then I realize it's a heart, and then I like, and like I drop it.
All right. So, do you fill the two in on what the young girl said about her stepfather and the barn?
Yeah.
So well, I guess there's no time. Redbeard Alehouse is approaching the barn.
He is. We better catch up with him.
I'm gonna start running over.
Because as you're telling them, or as you're telling Ingvar and Svein this, also you mentioned it's a hostage situation.
And I may or may not have told him there was mead in the barn.
But did you two actually find any keys or anything else useful?
Ingvar, what did you find?
I found a purse full of coins and some bones.
And Swine, did you find anything, or were you just swinging that oar around?
I was just like really excited that I like got my first like knockout, and like actually something went right for me for a change. And I'm just gonna be I didn't really even get a chance to like I started to loot the body, but then I like daydream about how awesome like my knocking out of that one.
It was really awesome.
Yeah, I know it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was crazy.
cool. Yeah, super.
Yeah. I think I deserve a hug after that.
Oh yeah, totally.
So as you're doing, as the two of you are doing one of those walking hugs, as you're all walking after Alehouse, the camera pans down to the body that you were supposed to loot, and in the pouch, clearly you can see as it hit the ground, a small key fell out, and then it just picks up after you all. So you reach Redbeard, Redbeard, and Redbeard, are you just barging in? How are you approaching the situation?
What do I see as I approach? I mean, not that I care, but just to set the scene for the audience here.
Got it. So this is an alleyway where the Great Hall is on one side, and on the other side is the back of a building. So the street side would be on the other side of this barn. Okay. And as you're approaching it, it's the back, and you have a couple areas where like the big doors could open, so a horse's head could come out, and you have areas where hay can get thrown in, whatever, from the back, but not really like an entrance into this area or into the barn from here.
Okay. Is there any light coming from the areas?
Yes, there's light coming from probably a flickering light source coming from one of those holes, like that a horse's head would stick their head out of. But it's coming through the cracks, so you'd have to kind of open it in order to see in.
Oh, screw that! I'm just hacking it, hacking at it. I want my meat!
All right, so the challenge that I'm going to pose to the group right now is Redbeard Alehouse. The rest of you have a chance here to get the Redbeard Alehouse to not chop down this door, potentially endangering the hostage inside. How are you four going to handle this?
I'm just imagining like a Here's Johnny situation.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Redbeard.
Take your medicine.
Ulfar pulls out his drinking horn, which he was saving for a little bit of time later, and has some mead in it. And I kind of hold it up and say, "Hey, look, I found some mead."
and I stop mid-swing.
Okay.
All right. And I turn. Well, why didn't you say so? And walk over and thank you. And it actually, the mead calms me down and takes me a little bit out of berserker mode. That's quite good.
After a little bit of mead, you suddenly know the right direction to go.
I know all now.
So as he calms down, there are some muffled voices you can hear. We're going to say, just for theatrical reasons, that there were thunderclaps at the moment, that all the loud sounds and yelling. and as it calms, you hear some voices coming from inside that area that you are about to hack through. You'd have to get a little closer to hear them. I mean, as Amanda comes closer to the camera.
Yes.
All right. So Vendela, this is what you hear.
Okay.
You hear a couple of voices. There's at least 3 people in there. One of them is a woman. One of them is a man trying to sound smarter or more eloquent than they are. And the woman is sort of chiding him and saying, "We still haven't found your daughter." And the other person says, "She's not my daughter." And the woman says, "Look, if this plan is going to go off without a hitch, we have to get your daughter back." And the other person says, "Well, you have all of these guards with all of these big pointy swords. Why don't you find her?" And then you hear a slap sound, and you hear, "Why did you do that? I'm going to be Jarl here. You know I'm going to be Jarl here someday. You can't slap me." And then there's some shuffling, a door slams, and the shuffling goes off.
Okay.
And you hear, that's where you guys get.
I'm gonna back away. The plot thickens. It seems that the stepfather, the husband of Jarl Thora, is part of this plot. He's in there with another person, possibly another one as well. 3 altogether.
So we should kill them.
That sounds like it might be a good idea. At the very least, we don't want to assume that he's an ally, even if we don't kill him outright.
Are there any windows or anything like that? Windows, or just a completely featureless?
It's got picture the back of a stable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how you can open some stuff up and then throw the hay in from the back.
Right.
That's kind of what you're looking at right now. There's 3 of those. The center one is where this sound is coming from, and the light on the one on the right and left, they're dark.
Do they appear to be connected?
Vendela heard a door close, but not necessarily where that door would be. So you'd have to open up and find out.
All right, so I do. I try the one to the left.
Okay. So when you open it up, it's dark inside, and it's kind of quiet for a moment, and then there's a clap of thunder, and you have that bright flash behind you, and in front of you is this enormous face with these huge dark eyes.
I close the door. It's not that one.
That was so good. All right. Someone taking a shot at door number 2?
Yeah, I guess I'll open door number 2.
Okay. So when you open it up, you see some of the light from the other area seems to be shining in here. So it looks like the rooms are connected, or whether it's a room or a stall, it looks like they're connected somehow. So if you were to go in here, you're in the shadows at first, but some of that light is shining in.
Okay. I'm gonna sneak in. I'm gonna go in kind of quietly and try to see if I can't go in undetected.
Okay. So go ahead and give us a roll for that challenge.
Let's see here. I'm gonna use my agility. I'm specialized in that, so I get to roll 2 twice, and then I take the higher, correct? Nice.
Yep, that's right. And you can use a grit if you want this to be a little bit easier for you.
No, I got 15 plus 4. I got a 19.
Nice.
19, wow. And you also oh no, that was somebody else. Never mind. So 19, that's great. So you succeed out right there. You take no strain, and so describe yourself going into this barn.
So I'm just going to I'm gonna do one of those little things where I go against the wall, and I'm and then all of a sudden I'll go real quick and go up against the other wall. And then maybe I'll get down on my belly and do the little belly crawl. And then I'll look over at everybody and be and then I just keep until I can kind of see what's going on.
All right. So are the rest of you going in?
Redbeard is quite enjoying himself right now. Oh, Redbeard, he drinks his mead and he feels so good. Come on, Fui Fui, sing with me.
You hear the rest of you outside, the four of you hear, or I guess you all hear it. Swine, you're hearing it while you're crawling and doing your ninja moves. And you hear from the inside, what is that? What is that singing? Someone is singing outside. And the other person says, shut up. Don't say anything. You can't tell me to shut up. You cannot tell me to shut up. I am going to be Jarl here someday. Soon. Tomorrow even. But there's someone singing out there for sure. You should check. And the guard begrudgingly opens the shutters to find all four of you right in front of him.
Why, hello there.
I headbutt the guard as he opens up. Just give him a good old wunk in the head.
I'm not even rolling for that. That was too beautiful. he slumps out of the window, and the four of you are standing there as Swine. You kind of are hidden, but they can see you, but you're on the other side. So think of yourself on one side of this person and in the room, and the other, all four of them are on the outside. And the person stands up, and it is a small, roundish man with a very, very finely trimmed short beard, and these little tiny rings, like these metal things that are put in, but they're put into it in a very his beard's not long enough to support them kind of way. And he has lots of jewelry all over him. And he stands up and he looks very frightened of all of you. And he says, what is the meaning of this? And then he thinks for a second. You're here to rescue me. Excellent. Who are you?
No, we're here to kill you.
What? Why would you say that? Well, I am the Jarl's husband, Kahl.
Carl.
Oh.
Why does everybody laugh when I say my name? Every time. That guard that you just hammered to death.
Kahl and Redbeard sit down to have a drink.
He immediately starts dancing with his hands and singing along with you. Dad, yes, see? Your friend with the big bloody beard is my friend. You don't want to kill me.
Yes, dance with Fui Fui. Yeah.
Yes, your big friend named Fui Fui. I'm going to dance with him and you're not going to kill me.
No, this is Fui Fui, and I start swinging Fui Fui around just sporadically.
He starts imitating with a little dance while holding up a little bit of his tunic.
Yes, dance, my little friend, dance.
Vendela, you told us we have to kill this man.
No,
I'm trying, but there's
we
three
should
of them.
apprehend him.
Is that not the same as killing?
No. We capture him. We have to capture him and rescue Jarl Thora.
I think I got one.
So as you're swinging outside and he's dancing along with you, he hears you say that you're going to capture him, and he hikes up his tunic a little higher and turns and runs towards the door where Swine you're hiding.
All right.
Yep.
So
I got him.
Let him
He's
escape.
gone.
So I'm going to try to do my signature order up move again.
No.
Go ahead and roll for this. I want to. It's a moving target. It's a moving target.
That's okay. It's okay because I'm really overconfident now because I pulled it off the first time. I think I can do it pretty much any time right now.
I think I would suggest that you use one of your grit to surge here.
Okay. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Right.
So go ahead and roll.
So what? So it's melee. I guess is what I'm going to use. Yeah. So.
Yep. I guess in a way you could probably use sailing since it's an oar, but that would be.
So melee is
bootstrapping it.
It's a stretch.
Melee is 4. I rolled a 15 plus I had my grit.
Dude,
Nice.
you get that point of grit back.
Nice.
That's not what you did. So how does this go? Where everyone is watching, and Swine steps out.
I step out like in front of. I like block his point of. and I look back at everybody like I'm gonna show them like yes I'm gonna right there. I look just like that and I say order up. I just whack him right underneath the right the side of the head and hopefully knock him out. I'm gonna say that I knock him out.
Yeah. So as he spins twice, like almost like a little pirouette in place, he faces the 4 of you out the back, and his eyes are a little bit like starry almost, and he says, "I just wanted to be your Kahl," and he falls flat on his face.
Your Kahl. Oh.
So I think that's a good moment to transition to a final scene here. I think because Doug, you said we were kind of budgeting about 2 hours, right?
Try it. Yeah, it's fine. Yep.
That's okay. So I think we're close, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah. You guys did a good job. Now the last scene, just because I think it'll be a good way to round it out. Let's do a montage. So in this system, there's individual threats that you face, and then there's more group things. So if you want to do those big epic shield wall battles or a big fight at sea, you don't have to take a long time with lots of rolls and lots of strategizing to get the story element that you want out of it. So in this case, we're going to step right into a montage scene, and in this, the way that it works is each of you is going to roll. Similar, I mean, other systems do it a similar way, but each of you is going to roll. You're going to decide what you're bringing to this to overcome the challenge. And in this case, the challenge is a feasting hall, like a mead hall, full of enemies that you're coming in and battling. Because now there's no worry about a hostage situation. You were told by the girl that her mother can handle herself. And so this is going to be that scene of the doors are going to come open and you're going in, and then let's see how it plays out. So there's 5 of you, right? I should know that. Okay. So everyone think about what it is that you're doing, roll for it, and if there's going to be any story elements that factor in, just let me know as we get to you. I'm going to you don't have to give me a narrative, just sort of what your approach is and what you rolled, and if there's a story element. And because this is the last scene, I'm just going to go ahead and reduce the whole difficulty level because all of you are surging, I'm assuming, because this is the last thing here. So I'm just going to do that for you. I'm just going to go in order from. No, that doesn't make sense. I think we probably need. Who would be the first through the door?
The berserker.
Okay, so we'll start with Redbeard. And then we'll go. I'll just call out the next person, and then you're not describing exactly what the scene is. You're just sort of saying what you rolled, and then I'll let you all know how the scene kind of plays out for all of you, and then you can narrate what you did.
Okay. 17 for my roll.
Okay. You're using Fui.
I am going unarmed.
Awesome.
Because I figured at this point he's out of meat again, and so he can't give any to Fui. So he puts Fui away. She's tasted enough blood. He wants to get his hands dirty now.
Got it. So Fui, the drunken axe, is now a hungover axe and needs rest.
Exactly.
I've been there, Fui. Okay, so we got the 17. Now go ahead. Let's do Sorry, Ulfar.
20.
Nice. And Swine.
22.
Nice.
Wow.
Swine is
Wow.
on point.
I'm actually Viking it up.
And let's go with
Get his swine face on.
Vendela. Look at that face. I think, so Doug, do you think you want to use that picture as the cover of the episode when it goes up on the podcast? Because the listeners aren't going to be able to get that image without.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, and so Vendela?
21.
Nice.
Okay. And last but not least, Ingvar.
13.
Hugs, not war.
I was gonna say you're just hugging everybody at this point.
Okay, so everybody's going to take a point of strain because this is indirect strain basically. So this is a very stressful situation you're all putting yourself in willingly. So you all take a point of strain for that, and then only Ingvar takes an additional point of strain. But you all succeed handily in overcoming this challenge. So, and I don't think, are any of you even close to coming to your max strain? I think a couple of you might be.
I'm close.
I'm 4 out of 6.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've got 5 out of 6.
Okay.
No, I'm not a good close.
I'm always worried when indirect strain comes into play because sometimes people don't pay attention to their strain and then they go into a shield wall and they try to bash it. They immediately get injured. Okay, so all of you did. This goes very, very well for you. There's lots of enemies in the hall, but before, that's as the doors burst open and Redbeard steps in. Before the battle begins, there's a moment of where Jarl Thora is sitting in her throne, in her chair on the dais. None of the guards are going near her because they seem sort of afraid of her. And when she looks at you, she has this moment of realization that her daughter's okay because she's actually, her daughter is in the background with you all. So like in that scene of you all in the door, she just snuck her way in and she's holding a small dagger. She has just a real menacing look on her face.
Way to go, pastry.
When the Jarl sees that her daughter is safe, she stands, pulls this giant sword from its scabbard, and beheads the first guard that's next to her.
Yeah.
And then you begin. So go ahead and take us through, starting with Redbeard.
Well, Redbeard comes in with an uppercut. And this is all slow motion as it's happening. I mean, comes over with the a nice left hook, comes down with a hammer blow. Maybe drops an elbow to his skull. And he's just making his way right through him.
And anybody who wants to go next can go next.
I'm gonna, as the doors open, I'm gonna be holding the oar, and I'm gonna be like that. And as Redbeard's making his path of chaos or of carnage through the mead hall, I'm also going to be following, and I'm just gonna be hitting people side the head, and I'm saying, "Your order's up, and your order's up, and your order's up, and your order's up."
All right, I'll go next. So I'm still not actually doing any actual physical fighting. What I'm doing is I'm going to rush right up over to where the kind of chair dais area where Jarl Thora was, and I'm shouting out to everyone else, kind of pointing out to them where people are coming from. So it's a lot of like, quick, Svein, on your left. No, Ulfar, behind you, turn, quickly. It's just kind of like shouting out directions to everyone, coaching.
Awesome.
All right, I'll go. As the doors get thrown open, my blood surges in a battle rage. I shout out to Odin, and I grab the nearest guard in front of me, and I bite his ear off. As I slide my sword into his gut, I spit the ear into the next person, and then I just start cleaving backwards and forwards. And I don't remember the rest of anything that goes on. I'm just a red haze. Later on, they tell me that I bit somebody's nose off. I reached inside somebody's stomach, pulled out his entrails, did things like that, but I don't remember any of it.
It's all hearsay. And last but not least, Ingvar.
Ingvar rushes in with his 2 blades, and as he's rushing in, he's just like, I'm gonna hug you all with my axes. Left and right. And he's doing such a great job until suddenly Svein, as he's like hitting someone with his oar, backhands Ingvar in the head by accident. And
Classic Svein.
And Ingvar's orders up.
So it's just this, as the camera pans up above you all, it's this, they're all jumping into the blender that is the Thunder Thigh clan, battling towards the DS and turning once you reach there, and you're now squared off shoulder to shoulder with Jarl Thora as the last wave of the enemy crashes against you and is thrown to the ground. Even the young girl is standing next to Ulfar, holding his pant legs with one of her hands and stabbing at people with her little dagger. And as the enemy falls before you, the Jarl turns to all of you and says, "Who are you?"
And we do that 80s montage. Thunder Thigh!
Thunder Thighs!
Oh, that's so good. We'll do one final scene. Is all of you in there, and she's ordering the men to bring in the big vats of mead, and they slap him on the floor in the center.
Yes!
Redbeard jumps down, and then Vendela, were you going to say something?
We cannot engage in revelry yet. We still have our commander and the rest of our men waiting on the beach for assistance. That's why we came here in the first place.
oh yeah.
I've earned it. I live for moments like these. Go ahead and get them. Oh, yes, mead. Come, fui, we shall drink. Oh, yeah.
And we will petition Jarl Thora. While we appreciate that you have had a very difficult couple of days here, we could also use some help.
She says, of course, I'm in your debt and would, completely in your debt. You saved my daughter. You saved me. What happened to my husband?
Oh, Jarl girl?
The snake. Yeah, did we just leave him? Did we just what did we do with him? We just left him.
This is the moment where he walks into the in a haze, like kind of a concussed state, walks into the mead hall, and when she hears what happened, they all tackle him, and he'll be dealt with in a very bad way. No, there will not be a Jarl Karl.
Jarl Karl's going to take a dirt nap.
And yeah, I think we could probably end that in the hall, knowing that your crew will be helped, and you've saved Jarl Thora and got help for your clan and got mead for your alehouse. Oh man, thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
This
was fun.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Thank you, Tim, so much for GMing. That was so much fun. Thank you to our players for joining us all tonight. Thank you for everyone that tuned in live. If I'm going to tell you to go back the North Sea Epilogues Kickstarter, which is currently running on Kickstarter. For how many more days does it have left as of tonight?
I think 9 more days.
So 9 more days, still plenty of time. So you've got it very affordably priced. Shem has done a very good job of setting the pledges. Do you want to talk about if folks would like just the PDF version? How much would that cost? How much would that run them?
Yeah, I think the PDF version is only $13.
Nice.
And
nice.
So that's the digital. Then I think it goes up. You have $31 for the actual physical book and PDF. So really good price there. And then also $41, so only $10 more on top of that, you get the GM screen on top of it, which is a 4-panel screen that gives the GM everything they need to run the game. Quick reference, but also on the front of it is this beautiful montage scene, this big, beautiful shield wall battle that was done specifically for this by the Miko. All the art in the book was done by the Miko, but it's going to set the tone at your table if you have one.
Do we think we can commission him to make a new GM screen of us, like, as a party?
Oh,
Like, I think that would probably be a better option. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We're deep into our stretch goals right now, and I'm pretty sure that we can talk Shem into throwing that one at the tail end as a victory condition. A victory condition.
You only have 2 left there.
Funny, that's the $1 million stretch goal, Doug. We were just talking about that this morning.
All these Kickstarter campaigns have that one stretch goal that's the cringe one where you're like, oh, I really don't necessarily want to reach that one.
Does anyone actually want that to happen?
I'm just kidding.
We don't have one of those. We have up next is Liz from Angry Hamster. She's our next stretch goal, which hopefully we might even have met that during this game. We were so close to it. And then after that we have Sen Fung Lim, and then we have a couple more that we'll unveil as those are hit. So we have 9 more days in the campaign, and it's really great. So many people are supporting the project and really interested in the game. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is that people that are really into the North Sea board game series might want to try some storytelling games, and then some people who are kind of like into the role playing might be playing the game and see this art and see the way that it flows and want to start getting into this. So this could be some crossover there.
I think that's awesome. I was on an interview the other day, and I think you're seeing a lot of board game companies that are kind of tapping into the RPG market, and they're kind of putting our RPGs out in their board game IPs. I think that's something we're going to see. I think you guys are setting a trend that I think we're going to see more of here in the next few years.
No, I think that's fantastic. The more ways of getting people around a table or virtually around a table, telling stories and making memories is the more the better.
Absolutely. All right.
So thank you again. Thank you, Doug, so much for having me.
Thank you. Go back the North Sea Epilogues on Kickstarter. Go check out ageofnight.com if you want to check out Amanda Kahl's webcomic. Check out Game in a Curry. Where can folks find you, Banana Chan?
People can find me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook through Game in a Curry.
Excellent. Josh, go check out Halloweenville on YouTube. Are you drinking mead on that channel at all, or is...
all the time, man. If you see me anywhere, I'm drinking mead.
All right.
You asked for this.
I know I did. You know who asked? Tim wanted to make sure. He's like, Tim said I only could have 4 players, and then he says, why isn't Josh part of this? And I said, well, you said 4 players. He says, well, I'm gonna make it 5, so it's all Tim. That's all you're doing, Michael. Where can folks find you, sir?
Twitter at @voidmarked, and nice. On Victory Condition Gaming's website.
Yeah, you're doing some great series for our website, and I appreciate that so much. All right, I'm going to tell folks, if you like this video, please give it a like down below. If you liked all our antics, if you like Tim's GMing, if you like our players just in general, just give it a like down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. And until this has been Victory Condition Gaming, because winning shouldn't be the only victory condition when you get to the table. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.